This is the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast. I'm Ty Higgins. When it comes to the economics of agriculture, we talk a lot about market prices, input costs, land values, cash rent rates. But what is the state of Ag Credit, an organization that serves 18 counties in northern Ohio? We're going to hear firsthand from Ag Credit CEO Brian Ricker on the podcast. Welcome in. It's good to see you.
Hey, thanks, Ty. Good to be here.
I want to talk a lot about your organization and how things are looking here in 2025. But as you saw, according to USDA, things in farm country across the U.S. are looking better economically speaking as far as net farm income goes. They're looking for higher income in 2025. And I was curious, when you and your organization see those types of reports, how much you take that to heart and how much you use that to make future decisions.
Yeah, Ty. We were a little surprised, I guess, to see those numbers. I know locally that those numbers. I think the weather that we've had, corn prices, soybean prices, where they are at right now. I don't think we're going to see quite as much increase compared to a year ago locally. But across the country, when you look at the weather and some of those things, I kind of do understand where those numbers are coming from. However, that's still a long way off. They're all projections, and we all know USDA, they've been wrong before. They'll change things a little bit later. So anyhow, we're just kind of cautious, I guess, at this point with some of those numbers.
It's important to note that that data is for the entire country, right? So we have a lot of producers of different commodities. A lot of the livestock farmers would think maybe they're having a better year than they would anticipate. But you talk to row crop farmers and they see that headline, at least from USDA, and they would ask exactly where that is coming from for sure. So it's certainly something to keep in mind as we look at Ohio specific. And let's get to your part of the state and talk about we're over halfway through 2025. So how have things gone for Ag Credit here throughout this part of the year?
Yeah, 2025 for the first 6, 7 months of the year, as far as ag credit goes, our performance, it's been good. Some things that we look at, some internal barometers would be, especially with lower commodity prices, we're about 46% corn and soybeans is our portfolio. So that's a lot of focus there on row crops. But credit quality, the loans that are on our books, they're our assets. And so we need to look at that and just see where that is going. And earlier this year, when we put our business plan together, we projected credit quality, the quality of those assets to probably go down a little bit as the year went on. We saw the lower prices and the margins and all that. And so far, we've kind of trended at the pace that we anticipated. So, that makes some sense, and that helps us to know where we're going there. Growth is another area that we look at, and we're growing about 7, 8%. Some of that's more into livestock, some other parts of our portfolio as well. And then net income. Net income is what really gives you the ROA. It pays the bills, so to speak. And we're actually a little bit ahead of our projection, a couple $1 million, but we are behind a year ago. And a lot of that reason for being behind a year ago is related to the need with credit quality. We have to start putting a little bit more money back into what's called a provision for loan loss account. It's just an accounting thing that we need to do, but some of that net income cannot flow to income. It has to be set aside for potential losses. And as that credit quality starts to go the other way, we got to get ready for that. So anyhow, it's been good. We are seeing obviously a little more stress out there with some of the different farm operations. Agriculture is cyclical, and we've been at this for quite a while. We've been through a lot of different cycles.
You mentioned the stress, and I mentioned commodity prices being low. Input costs are continuing to climb. What can you do as an organization there at Ag Credit to help your members get through these times and maybe ease that stress a little bit?
Yeah. I mentioned agriculture is cyclical, and I guess number one, just taking maybe a step back at times and understanding history a little bit and those cycles. The scary part, though, is you don't know when that cycle is going to go the other way and change. So I think that's important to know. But for us, our account officers, and those of us who are working with our members and our customers, our borrowers, we need to be there to listen and just be there to help guide them a little bit. And I do know too that when somebody does have a problem, then maybe it's a payment they won't be able to make. Other issues could pop up. The sooner we kind of have knowledge of that, there's a lot more options that can be done, and more things that can be considered when we know about it early. Maybe a principal payment could be deferred. There's time is of the essence, and there's just more options when you know that ahead of time.
We talked about the first part of the year. As we kind of wrap up 2025, I know that you mentioned earlier that you make predictions. You kind of see what the future outlook might be in order to make your budget and kind of plan for the future. So many uncertainties, not just what's happening with our global trade, but weather, crop conditions as we get closer to harvest. How do you go about strategically looking ahead, and what do you see for the future, let's say maybe 2026 and beyond, as far as agriculture is concerned?
Yeah, yeah. Projections is something that we do look at, and it's gonna for 2026. We'll start looking at that a little bit more in October next month. We'll start gearing up. Um, but a lot of times you're looking at kind of a 12-month rolling average of some different things, and so as one month rolls off, another month rolls on, and so you can see some trends just from looking at that data. Interest rates, there's some different things you can look at there. We're not. I'm usually wrong when it comes to forecasting interest rates, but you've got a window there that you're looking at, and as long as you're within that window, I think you're going to generally be in the ballpark with that. But it's just one of those things that you have to budget, you have to project, and then at the end of the day, at the end of the month, you got to look back and say, did we meet it? How do we compare? If we are not living up to that projection, then we have to make some adjustments mid-year. So that's one of the good things with a projection or a budget. It is somewhat of a guess at first, but then as you track it and you trend it, it helps you to know, hey, you're not tracking to where you need to be. Maybe you need to make some adjustments along the way, so that at the end of the year there are no surprises. So there's definitely a lot of positives with that projection and that business plan piece.
As farmers start to prepare for 2026, they might be looking for ways to get some more operating expenses secured for the next growing season. And I know that we have seen tremendous amount of on-farm storage pop up across Ohio over the last 10, 15 years as farmers start to take matters into their own hands as far as the markets are concerned. That's also an opportunity with that stored grain to secure some loans. Talk about that option a little bit and what that looks like.
Yeah, sure. So a lot of times we think of a traditional operating loan, and that operating loan is of course used to buy those inputs, that seed, the fertilizer, pay that cash rent. And traditionally, they're either 12 months or sometimes a little longer. But what happens, sometimes there's grain marketing opportunities that are out there that extend past the maturity of your operating loan. And you don't really want to sell your grain at a time when prices are low. Maybe there's some carry in the market and it's advantageous for you to wait a few months. And so what in the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, 3 or 4 years for sure, we've been doing a lot more grain inventory loans to kind of buy that time. And what it is, it's simply we know, or the borrower tells us, hey, I'm going to sell X amount and the next 3 months. So we'll do a short-term loan, replenish that operating, and then they can go out and get the good deals, I guess, on the inputs at that time. So that grain inventory loan has been very helpful. It's definitely put some more dollars in the members' pockets there. And then on top of that, we also have been working with the treasurer's office with the state of Ohio and doing a lot of ag link loans too. And so with an ag link loan, you can go up to $500,000 on a loan, operating loan, and get anywhere from maybe 2 to 2.5% off of that interest rate. It's a fixed rate for the time of that loan. I think we've done 1,800 loans over the past year or so with an ag link, and that's been really good for a lot of our members. You start taking that 2.5% times 500,000, and it's real money there, and that's what you got to do. It's a little bit here and a little bit there, and it kind of all adds up from there.
I know you're always looking for ways to get in front of your members and create new customers as well. And being on this podcast, certainly one way of doing that, but being in person is a better way to do that. Farm Science Review gives your organization, my organization, a chance to get out in front of a lot of farmers from all over Ohio to talk about what we're talking about here, all the options to make them successful through dealing with our particular organizations. I have to imagine that you have quite a presence at FSR in the middle of September.
Yes, yeah, we're really excited for Farm Science Review coming up here. We're going to be at booth 535. That's the corner of Land Avenue and Tractor Street, and we'll have a tent there. We'll have some popcorn, and we're going to have some of our team members there greeting folks as they walk by, and I think we'll have some tickets for some free food as well. So we encourage folks to stop by and visit with us.
You had me at popcorn. I'll be there for sure and can't wait to visit with you. Brian Ricker, CEO of Ag Credit here on the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ty. We'll see you.
Hi, I'm Craig Pullman from CAP Farms here in Southeast Van Wert County. I always call it a small to mid-size family farm cash grain operation. I'm the one here full-time. I've got a neighbor hired part-time, and my dad's still around here, I would say 6 or 7 months of the year. Otherwise, he's down snowbirding in Florida. The health benefits plan through Ohio Farm Bureau, I've priced that several different times through the years. And just the last year, my wife and I made the decision to sign up for it. We were struggling to get quite the coverage we wanted exactly through her work, which is how we've been getting our health insurance for a few years, a handful of years here. And so we priced it again, and it was really priced competitively. It was actually the same price point as her work insurance, and that was with her getting a subsidy from her work side. So was really pleased to see that.
Learn more about the Ohio Farm Bureau Health Benefits Plan at ofbhealthbenefitsplan.org.
No matter what generation farmer you are, the next one is always the most important. The Ohio Soybean Council is focused on the future of your operation. It's not just a checkoff contribution. It's an investment you can count on for your farm, your bottom line, and your future. Ohio Soybean Council. Invested in your future.
At Ag Credit, our loan officers take the time to understand each operation, its needs, and offer the unique financing solutions it deserves. Whether your needs include financing for equipment, livestock, inputs, farm improvements, real estate, or your home, we've got you covered. With a company vision to inspire growth in agriculture and our rural communities, our team members aren't just lenders. They take an active role in their community and are advocates for agriculture. To apply online or find the location nearest you, visit us at agcredit.net. Ag Credit, committed to agriculture, committed to you.
Getting ready for this year's Farm Science Review. We're here in London right now for the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast with Nick Zachrich. He manages Farm Science Review. And as I mentioned, we are just a few days away. This place is going to start really livening up here pretty quick.
Yeah, our setup's going to begin here really fast. We already have exhibitors coming in and doing some touch-ups on some of the permanent fixtures that they have around. So some of the buildings and gravel lots that just need some attention before all the equipment starts rolling in and the tents start going up. So a lot happening.
There's always something new. That's the reason you come every year, is because there's something new to check out. We'll talk about some of those new things in a bit, but some new people to visit with this year as well.
Yeah, a lot of new exhibitors. We're in that record number of new exhibitor range. You know, our very first year we had over 100 exhibitors. So that is the absolute most we've ever had of new, because that was the very first year. But since then, last year we had over 80 new exhibitors, and we're matching that again this year. So out of our hundreds of exhibitors, over 160 of them are going to be new in the last 2 years.
what does it take to get this place ready? It's a big grounds, right? There's a lot of maintenance that has to be done, a lot of things that have to be put into place. So what do these next few weeks look like for you as you prepare?
Yeah, it just takes a lot of good people. So we have a lot of those, and it works out really well. Some of them are volunteers, a lot of them are paid. So there's just a lot of physical work that has to get done with the mowing, the string trimming, the weeding, the gravel grading, putting dust control down. There's all these different things. Some of them are services that we hire out. But, there's just a lot of pieces that go into it, and you just have to have that playbook. You have a checklist, and all the things just have to fall into place, and hope that those good people come back again next year.
It's always exciting to see what's new. We all know in agriculture that there are tons of innovations, new technologies, and ways to do things on the farm more efficiently, more sustainably. What are some of those things you're going to be looking at as you come to the review this year?
Yep. Well, drone flying has been a very hot topic for over a decade now. We still have drone demonstrations, and there's very good reason for that because people are still kind of getting into that industry. So there's ways that you can improve your efficiency on spraying if you do you extend your window with those machines, do some little bit more accurate applications, spot spraying, those kind of things. So you get in windows that you wouldn't necessarily be able to get a ground rig into. And that's kind of one of the benefits of that. There's a lot of other applications of drones. The application of artificial intelligence into those, so AI just in general in an industry is just going to be mind-blowing for some people once they start really grasping what these things can do, what the new technology can do. And it's not just spraying. AI can be inserted into a lot of different things. And we'll even have some experts here from Ohio State that are helping develop some of those. So there's AI engines, and some people may have a hard time understanding what this tool is versus that tool. The data that goes into those is very important. And so we have some experts in our engineering department at Ohio State working with our food, ag, and biological engineering department. Big group of people. It's not just Ohio State. There's a huge group of people across multiple universities that are in this program called Icicle. You might be able to check them out. That's just one group that's going to have some information about all this new technology that's out there.
Yeah, AI taking on a whole new meaning in agriculture these days for sure. Yes. As you and I talk, it's a beautiful August day. We have had some challenges with the weather, and as much as there is to see right along Friday Avenue here, there's so much more to see when it comes to field demonstrations. How are the crops shaping up? What was the timing of getting them in, and how are things going to be looking as we get into Farm Science Review time?
Yeah, we're very fortunate. Some of the rain that we were able to get, others didn't get. So some of these pop-up showers we've had over the last even month, we've been very fortunate to get quantifiable rain. So where other parts of the state are getting pretty dry, we are just a little dry here too. We could use a little bit more, fill out some of our full season beans. Our field demonstration beans and our corn though are doing great. Corn is in dent and it's going to be ready to go for field demonstration. So we're excited about the quality and the yield that we're going to have off those early season varieties and hybrids that are out there. The machines will get started here pretty soon.
It's always great to see all the familiar faces and new faces here at Farm Science Review. It really is kind of like a family reunion. For those wanting to attend, how can they go about getting tickets and how can they find out more information?
Yeah, and since you're talking about that tradition part of it, Transforming Tradition is our campaign theme for this year. So Transforming Tradition just kind of is a way to think about all the things that you've done in the past that form these traditions of coming to Farm Science Review, who it is that you visit, who it is that you come with, all those different things, and maybe tweak that up a little bit. So Transforming Tradition is we have these, 100 and some new exhibitors over the last couple of years. Maybe visit a couple of them and not, just the ones you've always had on your list every year. Or maybe there's a new friend that you can bring along with you, a new family member. Maybe somebody's old enough to be able to make that trip with the whole, the adult family that's coming. Or maybe you make a second trip with your young family and then do the business trip the next day or something like that. So just kind of think about that in terms of how can I do things a little differently and create these traditions and be able to move those along. September 16th, 17th, and 18th this year, Ty. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 to 5 o'clock on Tuesday, Wednesday, 8 to 4 o'clock on Thursday. So those are our dates. You can find more information on the website. It's fsr.osu.edu. We also have a bunch of social media. So X and Facebook are kind of the two most common ones, but also you can find us on TikTok if you want to see some videos of some things that happen on throughout the year too. And so we got some other things too, like LinkedIn. If you're a professional and you get on that side a lot, LinkedIn's a good one for us too. But then we also have a mobile app, so you can find information about the show in the mobile app, the exhibitor listing. As new exhibitors get assigned, we're always assigning new exhibitors all the way up to basically the day of the show to fill in another spot. And so the mobile app will give you information there. And we also have a directory on the website that will be available here in just about a week. So the directory is the web version of that mobile app, and it just continues to get built over the next couple of weeks as well. And there's just so much to do. We got a program too. If everybody still wants a printed program, we still do that. So come to the show, and we'll have a printed program for you at the gate also.
All the details, fsr.osu.edu. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Farm Bureau being
at Farm Science Review as well. You'll find us at the corner of Beef and Friday, as you have for many, many years, and make sure and stop by, renew, or get a new membership and get a new pair of Farm Bureau work gloves while you're here visiting with us at Farm Science Review. Nick Zacharich, our guest, manager of Farm Science Review. Appreciate all the information and appreciate all the years of hard work you guys put into this.
No, thank you, Ty. Thanks for coming to visit today, and we'll see you again here in just a few weeks.
Find previous podcasts at ohiofarmbureau.org and search podcast.